Before we start today's video, check out our merch shop, linked in the description down below. Use code ahsoka in all caps to get $7 off your order. May the force be with you, and enjoy the vid.
Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
What's up guys, Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're all doing well, and in this video we are going to be discussing Shawn Levy and his Star Wars movie. For those of you that don't know, Shawn Levy, the director of Deadpool 3, is set to have his own Star Wars movie. Of course, we're gonna go ahead and hop right on into it. But before we do though, however, grab that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're talking about and covering all types of Star Wars related news, leaks, rumors, theories, and breakdowns here on the channel, so if you guys are into any of that, go ahead and grab that subscribe button and join us here on the channel today. So, excitingly enough, it seems that we have a bit of a new tease, or even like a bit of a preview for Shawn Levy's upcoming schedule, and for what we can anticipate to see with his own Star Wars movie as well. While his Star Wars movie isn't something that's been officially announced like at Star Wars Celebration by Lucasfilm or by Disney, it's something that Shawn Levy himself has openly talked about a number of times throughout recent interviews, saying, oh yeah, I am set to make a Star Wars movie. Kathleen Kennedy, the president of Lucasfilm, has reached out to me to create a Star Wars movie as well. The biggest issue though, however, for when it comes to Shawn Levy and his Star Wars movie isn't necessarily coming up with an idea like Taika Waititi and his Star Wars movie, it's the idea of that he has a very busy schedule, as of right now he's busy with the MCU with Deadpool 3, by which if you're a Marvel fan, we have our Marvel channel linked in the description down below. And so, in this video, we are going to be taking a read from StarWarsNewsNet.com. I'll have their article linked in the description down below. Putting aside the possibility of The Mandalorian Season 4 becoming a movie, Lucasfilm has officially confirmed 5 Star Wars feature films in development. We know Charmin Obi-Chinoy's new Jedi Order era project, set to have Daisy Ridley return as Rey 15 years after the events of The Rise of Skywalker. We also have Taika Waititi also actively working on his Star Wars script. The Glovers, Donald Glover and his brother Stephen Glover, are also said to be working on a Lando film now, instead of a Lando show for Disney+. It's now being rumored and even teased around that the Lando project, which was set to be a show initially, is now being developed into a movie, and that's definitely one to study up close to. And also, James Mangold is waiting for a complete unknown to start shooting, to start writing his own Star Wars film as well, so he has a bit of a busy schedule at the same time as well. James Mangold is set to discuss and cover the origins of the Jedi Order, essentially, going back to the dawn of the Jedi era, essentially, and of course, let's not forget, Dave Filoni's Cultimation event for the Mandoverse. Somewhere in the mix of all of that there as well, Rian Johnson is also said to still be having his Star Wars trilogy in development. It's just a matter of if and when type of scenario though, however. One name though, however, tends to escape that list. Maybe because Lucasfilm hasn't officially confirmed him yet, or maybe because he's currently associated with another brand. It's Shawn Levy, of course, but we know he is tied to Star Wars because he himself has confirmed, as I had mentioned multiple times in interviews, that he had been reached out by Kathleen Kennedy, Lucasfilm's president, to take on his own Star Wars movie. One of his first statements on the matter was about his decisiveness to take and to make the film, actually, despite Lucasfilm's track record with its creative decisions. By which, in light of, I recently had a video here on the channel talking about the cancelled Rogue Squadron movie that was announced nearly 3 years ago by Patty Jenkins to take on the film, the Wonder Woman director, very talented, and the film was supposed to release this past weekend, this year, and here we are after ups and downs, and the movie never actually came out, unfortunately. The list though, however, seems to kind of go on and on. There's been a lot of other Star Wars, or not just Star Wars, but you know, creatives, directors, writers, and everyone in between to have taken on Star Wars projects, whether it is a show or a movie. I mean, for that matter, most of the shows have made it out, but as for the movie side of things, they seem to take on a lot of different creatives, writers, directors, have creative differences, and they decide to walk away. That's besides the point. I hope to not see that with Shawn Levy. He doesn't seem to look like that type. He looks to have a lot of grit in that sense, as into like he's going to get his way and he's going to fight for what his creative decisions are, I think. Also, not to mention having Dave Filoni stepping in as the chief creative director now, a part of Lucasfilm, there seems to be a lot of other free kind of creative decisions flying around. Like, they aren't going to have that indecisiveness essentially and have that combat of where they're kind of coming up with different different ideas, and it just causes creative differences and causes those directors, those writers to step away. So I hope that Shawn Levy wouldn't fall victim to that. Shawn Levy does have a few weeks left to shoot and film on the London set of Deadpool 3 before he rushes to the post-production bay and tries to get the movie finished by its July 26, 2024 release date. It's going to be an intense first half of the year for Shawn Levy. At least he's supposedly already edited half of the movie whilst the strikes were going on, because what else were they able to do with a lot of their different projects? That's what a lot of different projects in Hollywood were doing while the ongoing actors and writer strikes were active. They weren't able to film anything necessarily new or write or develop any new scripts, but they were able to edit up whatever footage that they did have. However, the tight schedule probably means that he won't be able to work on the 5th season of Stranger Things before the summer as well, and since that he's already confirmed that he'll be back as the director on at least one episode, probably a couple episodes for Stranger Things 5, it seems logical to assume that it will happen on the second half of the year, so that's what he'll be busy with throughout the rest of next year, 2024. The hit Netflix show is supposedly starting its shooting at the beginning of January next year, and the Duffer Brothers have already confirmed that it will be a year-long production. Now, Shawn Levy has already done episodes 3 to 4 of the past seasons, so it seems plausible to assume that he's been given those now as well. So that would keep him busy for another couple of months after Deadpool 3, and then we're going to be in the fall of next year. This is where things are going to get a bit interesting though. Shawn Levy recently signed on to direct another Netflix movie starring Ryan Reynolds, but it's also unknown as of to when that film will happen. The Hollywood Reporter has said about it is that the project isn't happening anytime soon necessarily, as it is still in early development, and to the senses of that they're still writing the scripts, but the package was hot enough to spike a bidding war that Netflix won. So I can't imagine that Shawn Levy will move on to make a Star Wars movie before that. That's putting it back to the burner for another 2 years at the very least. This would make me wonder if he's actually been told by Lucasfilm that he's not needed for the time being, but looking out into the future, as into the next 2 to 3 years, for sure. At first glance, it seems like Lucasfilm's #1 priority for 2024 and next year would to be to get Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy's Rey movie up and running, and it does seem to be quite farther down the line than we've really seen any other Star Wars movie get to in the last couple of years, which is honestly great news, as recently it seems that the script has been turned in for that movie. We also have a Lando movie deep in development, or early development at the very least, as I had mentioned, and I have a feeling that we'll learn more about that as during the first 2 months of the new year, when Donald Glover's Mrs. and Mr. Smith show debuts on Prime Video. From there, he's probably going to go on a couple of interviews and say a couple things. Anyway, James Mangold will be busy with the Bob Dylan biopic, but if he can wrap that in the first 6 months of the 2024 year, then he could start writing the Dawn of the Jedi movie after the summer. So they can easily have 2 more films that they would be able to shoot in late 2024 and 2025. We can also add Dave Filoni's name to the list, with the asterisk that we don't know if he'll be doing Ahsoka Season 2 first, or after the Thrawn movie, or the Mandoverse Cultimation movie. All things considered, it looks like Shawn Levy and Taika Waititi will not be a part of Lucasfilm's first wave of these new films, and that they probably won't start filming before 2026. They still just have a lot of other things going on their schedules, and their scripts are just way too in early development, their ideas essentially. Which of course by any means is not a bad thing whatsoever. Take your time, you can't rush art. This here all being said, guys, let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. I would love to hear what you guys are all thinking, your thoughts and opinions and theories. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Of course, this has been an official Star Wars. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great one. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.